You're listening to the True North Success Podcast. Real stories of personal, professional, and financial wins from Alberta's best. With your hosts, Gary Ma and Amy Kim.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Today, my special guest is Velimir. Velimir is a medical doctor at Grand Prairie Regional Hospital with extensive international training and over a decade of surgical experience. He brings a patient-centered approach shaped by diverse clinical practice and surgical support expertise and a strong commitment to quality care. It's a great pleasure to have uh, Velimir on the show today. Welcome, Velimir. So,
Hello.
Velimir, I gave a brief overview of your success. Can you fit in the detail of what you do?
Hi, my name is Dr. Velimir Milenkovic. I'm currently working in Grand Prairie Regional Hospital Department of Surgery, and I serve as a surgeon assistant in this hospital. The hospital is located in Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Awesome. And then could you tell us a little bit more about your background, where you started your journey and where you are on now?
Well, I was born and raised in Serbia. It's a small country in southeastern Europe. That is where I completed my med school. And I work as a general practitioner for 5 years before I moved in Canada in 2012. And my first stop was Toronto, just like for many other immigrants. And there I learned that licensing process is different from province to province. And then I learned there that the fastest route is to go to west, and I started my journey actually in Saskatoon, my professional journey in Saskatoon, where I worked for 8 years. And that is why I established my first surgical steps. I was very, very lucky that I met wonderful surgeons there who introduced me to the tricks of trade of this amazing science. And then I found this full-time job in Grand Prairie, looking for the same role. And then I moved even more to the west. So this is now where I am at this moment.
Awesome. I'm always interested in learning about the story behind. So, were there any defining moments for you that shaped that path that you're on today? Why is medical, and what brought you to Canada?
Okay, so we have to return back many, many decades. Well, before I decided to go to med school, I knew that it should be something related to science, because as a boy I was too lazy to learn and study. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to science. It's so logical, and I can, cut the corners, and I can finish exams without too much study. So I was good in math and physics because it's so logical. And then my grandfather, he was a doctor as well, and somehow for some maybe subconscious reasons, I decided to go to medicine. And then I entered to the med school at the University of Belgrade in 1997, many years now. And then I graduated in 2004, med school in Serbia last 7 years, including 1 year of internship. And then there was at that time was a mandatory army service, so I spent 1 year more in the army as an army doctor. So finally, in 2006, I completed everything. I got a Serbian medical license, and then I moved to one remote town, because in Serbia, government decides where you're gonna go if you want. They just offer you a job. So I got a call from the government, and they asked me, okay, Velimir, you want to go there? And of course, I didn't have any other options, so I went there. Anyway, parallel with that story, my now late uncle, he lived in Toronto, and he asked me, okay, why you don't come to Canada? Maybe it's better option, especially for your kids. At that time, I was bachelor, but I think about my future family. And then I apply in 2007. I apply for permanent resident, and then I was waiting for 5 years to get permanent resident visa. So in 2012, I moved to Canada only because I had support. I have family there. And then, as I previously tell, I moved then to Saskatoon and so on. So this is the background why I ended up in medicine and why I ended up in Canada.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that story. Yes, I can see where you like science because there's a formulas and then we don't need to memorize all many things. I
Yeah.
remember, yeah, reflecting my
Even in medicine, people think that medicine is all about learning by heart, which is true to some extent, but also there are some patterns and formulas that you can apply, and that is how I would say 50% of my medical studying and exams and everything I just pass through logic because many things are logical. Although
hmm
50%
hmm
the second half is really sit and learn by heart. There is no other option to find. But it wasn't hard for me. It wasn't hard, and I was really interested in.
Awesome. Yeah. So with your extensive experience as a both like a physician and a surgical assistant
Yeah.
across like different healthcare systems, how has your clinical background shaped your approach to patient care, particularly in high pressure surgical environments?
So I tell you, I start in a so remote area where I was a ambulance driver, I was nurse, I was doctor. So I have one picture. Unfortunately, I can share with your listeners. I have a picture that I'm the only one staff. It's only me and some old Russian SUV from Serbia, and that is how I travel around. And I was the sometimes the person who bring patient into the this SUV. So it was very interesting. I was younger, of course, at the time, and so then I gradually moved to more regular office in Serbia and then in Canada. And then the first shock for me was my very first surgery in Saskatoon, because usually people who are new in surgery they start with something more common, such as hernias, appendectomies, lumps and bump surgeries. However, my first surgery was big removal of cancer in the liver, and my very first case lasted for 14 hours.
Wow.
My very first case in Canada as a surgeon assistant. It was in Saskatoon. So I was really baptized by fire at that time. However, gradually I asked for more exposure. I literally chased surgeons around in Saskatoon and asked, "Oh, may I help you? May I help you?" And also I made like business cards and I delivered to secretaries in Saskatoon because every surgeon has its own secretary. And then gradually people start calling me like, okay, I need a assistant tomorrow, I need assistant in 2 days in. And it was getting gradual experience. And I can say again, I can thank to all Saskatoon surgeons who work with me on their patients in the beginning and chance to learn something. Uh, each surgery was learning. So I ended up in around 2,000 surgeries under my belt when I moved to Grand Prairie. And now I have approximately 6,000 cases.
Wow.
Yeah, from
That is
head to
impressive.
toe. Yeah, all like I was involved in uh, pediatric cardiac cases. I was regular part of transplant kidney transplant team in Saskatoon, and so on and so on. So
hmm
it was a journey.
Wow.
Still it
Yeah,
is.
I can.
It still it is.
I think you have very unique and very inspiring backgrounds compared to the most of surgeons, I would say,
Yeah.
and then surgeon assistant as well. So, what would you say the one of the biggest challenges or lessons you've learned in your career?
Well, first thing is cultural and ethical considerations that are completely different in some countries versus North America.
Mm.
And I give you one example. So, my first exam that I supposed to pass in order to get any form of license was called Medical Council of Canada evaluating exam. MCCEE. And I took that exam 2 times and I failed. And I was like, why I'm failing this exam? It's not difficult from medical standpoint. You have to remember some things, but it's not so difficult. And then I spoke with some doctors from my community in Toronto, and they told me, oh, it's not about your knowledge. It's about, and they checked my exam results. It's about ethics. And I was thinking, what is wrong with my ethic, with my ethical consideration, and they gave me the book, like they gave me literally the book, and they told me, study this book. It was a big book, like 300 pages maybe. Study from here, and you will see the difference. And then I immerse myself into something that is normal for majority of Canadians, but from my perspective, it was very unusual. It's, let's say, uh, certain religion communities, they don't accept blood. From my perspective, it was going without saying that you are giving blood and you don't have to ask patient because you're doing for his or her benefit. No, in Canada is different, or that patient has right to refuse the treatment. And gradually I learned that patient and doctor, they should be in partnership, not in some paternalistic way as is in Serbia, but they're equal in making informed consent. I didn't know the principle and the context of informed consent, because in Serbia it's, this is the treatment that I'm suggested to you, and 99.9% of patients, they just sign, even think about, they don't even think, they trust doctor. Here in Canada is different. Of course, very next iteration I passed the exam because I knew what was asked for me. Or then in Serbia it's normal that you share the status of uh, alcohol blood levels with the police officer. In Canada you can't do that.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, you can't, it's illegal. You, because it's a privacy, you're sharing privacy of the patient. You can't say to police officer, oh, this patient, he has a 1.2 alcohol blood level. No, it's you can lose license, which is fine after I learn rationally behind that principle. But that was my main how would say, main concern, main obstacle. And then that cultural things, you can't judge people. You're there, you're here to help. In Serbia, people, quite often physicians say, why do you smoke? It's not good for your health. Here you can say that, but in other words, I'm afraid that your habits are not good for your health. Small things, but still big when it comes to college and exams and everything. So that was my first thing that I had to learn. Second thing, of course, I work as a general practitioner back home, but in Canada, I got a great opportunity to start my career in the OR. So I bought a lot of books and I read and read and read again and again. And finally, now I feel comfortable with ethical principles that are normal in Canada, that is norm in Canada and North America, and I feel comfortable in the OR. But it was 12 years journey.
Yeah, that's
Become
very
comfortable.
interesting story. So I wonder, like, kind of make me curious that if you ever decided to go back to Serbia and you do practice, do you think what you learn from Canada would affect the way how you help your patient?
Absolutely. I think about that every single day, trust me. And there is a Viber group where all my colleagues from Serbia are from the same, they get into, all my peers, and they get into med school same year as me. And then we chat about everything. And quite often they just drop the full name and last name of the patient. Like, can somebody check this patient at hospital? Full name. And I was thinking, oh my God, if I work there, I would argue with people. Of course, in Rome, you're Roman. You can't change that. But I was like, this is so inappropriate that you share full name, full data, even date of birth. And then, can somebody check for this patient for me? In Canada, it's absolutely no, no. And then I try to share this experience that I'm that we are talking about, and many of my colleagues like, oh, come on, don't be picky too much.
Yeah,
However,
don't be difficult.
yeah, don't be difficult. However, from a medical standpoint, and when we talk about when I sharing my Canadian experience to my colleague in Serbia, uh, it's I can say it's wonderful what people can learn, what surgeons around the globe can learn from Canadian surgeons.
Mm.
It's amazing. So, for example, here is something that is almost everyday practice, something called robotic assisted surgery. And for example, in some disciplines like urology, it's so often that we can say in Edmonton, in Calgary, you can even do some surgeries without it. It's a robotic assisted surgery. In many countries, including Serbia, they didn't even heard about that. And
What
in
is that
Canada,
exactly? Can you tell
the
us more
robotic
about it?
assisted surgery is when so you can imagine you have up to some 30, 40 years ago, the standard of care for majority of cases was open surgery, where you literally open the body cavity and fix the problem. Then laparoscopic surgery came in. It's with that long pipes when you make a tiny small incisions at the patient body. You get with camera and you get with instruments that are so delicate and tiny that you can do basically surgery without opening the patient. And
Mm.
now the third level is something they call robotic assisted surgery, where robots is holding the camera, that tiny pipe, and peek into the human body with the camera, and you have instruments that can spin 360 degrees, so it's very easier to surgeon
Mm-hmm.
to manipulate all these things while surgeons sit in it's look like a video games. When you have a screen, you have a joystick and you move the joystick up and down and basically operate the patient.
Mm.
So, and the probably the newest thing is when surgeon is in, let's say, Hamilton and patient is in Calgary.
Yeah, I've seen it in the TV.
Yeah, so that is something that is quite cool, and there are many cool things in Canada, I can say,
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
technical perspective that we can discuss.
Yeah.
But and that is what I would definitely implement in back home, not for some to make some money or make some fortune on that, but only to share my knowledge with my colleagues in Serbia. I would do that for free,
Yeah, and also it would
just
be
to
good for the
share.
patient too, because
Yeah, for the
recovery going to be way less, very
for
quick.
for the benefit of the patient. Yeah, exactly. So I would share anything that I know with my colleagues in Serbia. So guys, I'm giving you something that is top notch in the world,
Yeah.
because many cool things are are done in Canada, just like in States. So that is what I would share. I would share these ethical principles that patient is not your child, patient is your partner.
Mm-hmm. I
And
love
that is very important because people likes to be treated as equal
that. Mm-hmm.
in everyday communication.
That's
Don't
right.
lecture me. And I believe that if you want to ask somebody to stop smoking, for example, or lose weight, you can achieve that, but only if you say that in appropriate way. If you
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, you're fat, lose some weight," you will not achieve anything as a doctor. You will achieve
That's
nothing
right.
except to embarrass the patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you
Totally.
try to explain to him or her, okay, this is not good for your health. I'm concerned. I'm here to help you. Then gradually, maybe you will achieve some loss of weight, or if that is your goal, or make somebody to stop smoking or make somebody to stop taking alcohol or whatever.
Yeah, amazing. I love your story. So, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have coming up over the next 6 to 12 months?
I would like to, honestly to get into some surgical residency. That is also obstacle for IMGs. So we have plenty of chances to get into the family medicine and psychiatry, public health, or so on. But there are very few chance opportunities to get into the surgical residency. And surgical residency is a full training. So after a couple of years, 5 years usually, you become a full licensed surgeon. So that is my dream, if I can say here, to get into some training and become a full licensed surgeon.
Yeah, I can see that you will achieve what you wanted within a couple of years after I am listening to your stories. So it sounds like things are going really well for you and your career. So congratulations,
Thank you.
Valdemir.
Thank you.
So many busy medical professionals are earning strong incomes right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about financial success, but often requires significant investment of the time and energy. And looking ahead, a common goal is to maintain the same level of income or lifestyle while maybe perhaps working a little bit less later, and especially with the inflation at all-time high. So, as a result, a lot of people are exploring ways to generate income outside of their primary work, such as like investing in stocks or cryptocurrency and precious metals or real estate. What are your thoughts about the income outside of work?
So first, I have to say that whatever you see in official stats, income of average surgeon or doctor, any doctor, family doctor, pediatrician, whatever you see, divide that by half. And that is how much that surgeon takes home.
Mm,
So 50% just why? Because taxes are enormous. Second, physicians, they have to pay their secretaries, their offices, insurances, so many expenses, and nothing is
mm,
backed by government. Nothing, zero. So basically, every other patient, for our perspective, is free. One patient is for us, one patient is for the government, and all other expenses. And I
mhm,
give you one fact. So in Alberta, since I would say 2010, for example, there was no increase to claims that we are submitting to the government, maybe for 1%. So
mm.
imagine how many, let's say, Big Macs in McDonald's you could buy for your salary in 2010, how many you can buy today, or how many eggs you can buy now compared to how many eggs you could buy in 2010. No single increase in claims were seen. I
Wow.
Yes. So why I'm telling you that? In 2012, I moved to Canada, but here I speak with surgeons who are here from 2006, 2010, who moved to Grand Prairie and started their career. They didn't see any increase.
Mm,
So removal of, I don't know, gallbladder is the same. But life expenses from when you compare 2010 to 2026, it's like completely like day and night. First thing, so anything you see divide by half. That is how much that surgeon or doctor, any MD is taking home. And then again, there still it's not so bad lifestyle. Lifestyle is okay, but it's become harder and harder,
mm,
especially after Corona, where physician worked way less. Many surgeries were canceled, and Corona was huge. I would say impact on our finances. Bad impact, of course. Now, okay, gas prices they're going up. But I believe that the majority of surgeons, they try to invest somewhere because any available money seen by government will be taken through taxes. So we are looking for ways to invest, whether it's through renting apartments in Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, whatever, or investing in a stock market. It doesn't matter. But what I heard from other physicians who are way better situated than me, I heard that they invest any extra money in stocks. So because anything that you have more than, let's say, $150,000, $200,000 per year will be taken by the government. So you have to invest.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will give that money to the government. And I have also say that Alberta government is very, very fair, because in my case, I can say for myself, I'm giving maybe 5 to 10% of my whole income to Alberta. Everything rest is for either private or corporation, and everything else goes to federation.
Mm-hmm.
So we are lucky that I'm actually lucky that I live in Alberta, probably the best province at this moment.
Yeah, in terms of the tax.
If we talk about money, we have only federal tax. When you go to Walmart or elsewhere, you're paying only federal tax. We don't have provincial tax,
That's right.
which is not so bad. I was in Montreal, and Quebec is it's amazing how much they charge.
Yeah, I sometimes travel to BC and Toronto, even
Mhm.
BC and Toronto, and I was like, "What? This is all you pay after you do like tax and provincial tax and federal tax?" So like, yeah,
I'm so
all
sorry. I'm
very
so sorry
different.
because I believe that this if you penalized the smartest, the creme de la creme of your society, what you get, people gonna leave, because uh, usually people who are making lots of money, they're smart, usually, unless they inherited some money. And you penalize somebody because he or she is smart. My accountant told me, Velimir, if you stop working on October, let's say 5th, you will make more actually,
Oh,
because you get into the bracket.
yeah,
You should
yeah,
stay at home and close your business and then show up on January 1st.
yeah. I
You
hear
know,
you.
so that is how bad it is. And the messages don't work because you will pay more. And that is one thing that I can say it's better in Serbia than here. In Serbia, we have flat tax, 12%, period. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 12% no matter how much you make. And
Yeah.
the government take that 12% immediately before they put anything on your account. And that's it. You have 88% of
Mm-hmm.
whatever you make.
Mm-hmm.
Same in many countries, many Eastern European countries, we have flat tax rate, which I think is
Yeah.
better because it treats all people equally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like sometimes we feel like we are penalized because we work harder, and
exactly,
shouldn't be that way.
exactly. So the message is, if you reach, let's say, 75,000 and the bracket is 76, it's better stay at home and just stay at home. At the end of the year, it would be cheaper for you because otherwise you'll pay more, so you will ended up with 70,000 after taxes and everything. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Government
yeah.
should
I think we
push
can talk
people.
about for hours about this
Yeah,
system. And I came from Korea, South Korea, so I totally understand where you're coming from.
yeah,
So, Velimir, Velimir, let's
yes.
talk a little bit about the advice. So, as we wrap it up, what advice would you like to offer to aspiring international medical graduates or early career, the healthcare professionals navigating complex systems like Canada?
Okay, so I can give advice, same advice as I would give to much younger Velimir. So first thing, if you're interested in family medicine, come to Canada, pass MCC 1, NACOSKI, study IELTS, do USMLE as a backup plan, and you there is a very, very high success rate for people who wants to go into the residency and become family doctors. If you plan to do anything apart from family medicine, especially if you want to go to surgical specialties, go to South Africa, go to Ireland, go to UK, go to States, go to New Zealand, Australia, get their training, and then move to Canada. Because if you dream about uh, training in Canada in anything else except family medicine, public health, psychiatry, maybe internal medicine, you're in the wrong spot because you will spend a lot of years in waiting for your residency spot. That is what I would suggest to younger Velimir. So I
Mm,
can't say that is 100% good advice, but from my perspective is because Canadian provinces they recognize training from above mentioned countries, so which is ex Commonwealth plus United States, uh, and that is the easiest way. Uh, be persistent. It sounds like a cliche, but you have to be persistent. Uh, the most important thing is to know the book so-called Toronto Notes. Learn Toronto Notes from cover to cover, and yeah, that's it. That is what I can give advice. There is also something called Practice Ready program. It's usually for family doctors who have 3 or between 3 and 5 years of experience in other countries. Maybe that's the route, but again, it's for family doctors. If you want to do anything else a little bit more complicated, then Canada is not a good country for you, at least if you're looking for the training. It's
mhm,
if you come with licenses from UK, Ireland, US, then you can get Canadian license. Also, I would again point out this tax problem, which is challenging. I share my experience and what I'm talking about experience of other people from UK, people from Ireland, people from states who moved here, and some of them regret again because of
mm,
taxes. Also in
mhm,
Canada, we have fee for service system, which is good because it pushes you to work harder. You're paid by patient, not in service, not by it's not fixed salary. It's good from one perspective. I heard another day from a doctor who came from UK. It's not good from another because if you are in UK, if you are on vacation,
mm,
you are paid. In Canada, you're making zero.
mm.
If you know because you're seeing zero patient. Let's say you go with your family for 10 days somewhere, you're making nothing.
Wow.
So it's actually double expense. You pay for the trip and you're paying potential loss that you didn't make. So there are pros and cons, but generally speaking, it's okay, not so bad. But yeah, be just aware of these couple of pitfalls, and if they're okay with you, people are more than welcome to come.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for
Sure.
sharing all the insightful information. So, Velimir, if people would like to connect with you, how they can get a hold of you?
Well, you have my email.
Could
If
you could you spell that out for our
yes,
audience?
I would like now if people can connect you and then just put my email there because I'm not willing to share my email with audience, so people all over the globe contact me. 90% of people are they have a good intentions, but I'm afraid of those who do not. So if somebody contact you and ask, okay, I want to contact Velimir, and you share his or her email with me, I'm more than happy to to talk about and touch the
Yeah.
base with anybody who is willing to try Canada. But again, this is my experience.
Mm-hmm,
Maybe
mm-hmm,
somebody had better experience, maybe somebody had a worse experience. I don't know. I share
mm-hmm.
my experience here.
Right. And you are also in a LinkedIn, so
Yeah, I'm
anyone
on LinkedIn. Yes, exactly.
they can reach out to you, right?
Yes,
And then we can go from there.
yes,
So
absolutely.
thank you so much, Vladimir, for your time today and sharing your great insights and inspiring stories with us. So we
Thank
truly appreciate your time and the perspective that you brought to the conversation. Thank you,
thank you.
Vladimir.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at truenorthsuccessshow.com/guest. We'd love to hear from you.